Hello, my name's Trina Wilcox with Run Radio's Artist Spotlight, and today it's shining on Criminal Outpost. And I welcome Alec and Nate. Hello, how are you gentlemen doing today?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm excited to learn more about your music, how you guys are working together, how you're getting the word out about your music. Because Nate and I talked a little bit about how much work goes into being an independent artist with the writing, performing, marketing. And so you got a lot on your own shoulders, and music, in your words, so good it's criminal. So tell me about it.
Yeah, so Criminal Outpost, we're a five-piece indie pop rock band. We originated in Springfield, Missouri. All five of us are from different locations, but we all joined together there. I actually got the guys together through a Instagram ad. I woke up one morning and I'd always wanted a band, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it today. And I posted out a an ad, and I had a little audition process, and the guys that are currently in the band now are the first people that I auditioned, and it just kind of connected. We have really great chemistry, and yeah, we love making music together. So I don't know, Nate, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much like hit the nail on the head. I had a it was a funny coincidence too. I really had just sort of been late night laying on my bed scrolling through Instagram, and I saw this ad that was just saying this guy was looking for a band that was kind of along the lines of like Tame Impala, Foster the People, Young the Giant. And I was like, I like those guys. I might as well take a chance and hit this guy up and see what I can do. And just from there, I just remember, saying, hey, I play guitar. I'm interested in what you're offering, and sent him a couple of videos of me playing. And he's like, oh yeah, I love it, you're in. I have a couple songs pre-recorded as well. And at this point, I'm still not thinking, yeah, no, it's anything big. I just wanted to do something to have a little bit of fun, because I'd never been in a band before, and just wanted to, I just always had the dream of like playing on stage and all that kind of stuff. So he sends me a couple demos of songs he's working on, and I listen, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And just from there, instantly fell in love with it. And from day one, it's just been something that I've been insanely passionate about, and just telling everybody I know. So yeah, it's definitely changed my life for the better. So I appreciate that. I love being in Criminal Outpost.
That's awesome. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
that's one of the good positive things to social media. So how
right.
often do you use social media in getting together and promoting? Is it your top tier focus, or is it just kind of secondhand?
Yeah, I think in starting out, we were really just focusing on the music, and like I said, we were all in Springfield, Missouri, which is the college town basically of Missouri State University. And so our focus was really just practicing, finding our sound, and gaining an audience in that location that we were in. Playing the local venues, playing bars, playing clubs, playing things like that, and trying to really figure out who we are. I think now we have moved into this stage now that I've moved out to Los Angeles. I'm waiting on Nate and Calvin to meet me out here in about a year or so. But I think now that we're working on our first album, and we're working on becoming more established, now we're kind of starting to gear more towards the social media side and the promotion and marketing side, which is a whole monster of its own.
Well, how do you make a long distance relationship work with a band?
Well, honestly, with how advanced our technology is today, it's really not as difficult as we may have thought. Um, what we have going on right now is all the other guys are together, so they'll get together and record like all the music, and then if I have an acoustic guitar part, I'll record that and send it over. But normally, yeah, they'll just record all the music, and then once it's done, they send it over to me. I record my vocals, and then I send those back over to them, and they mix it together, and like boom, it's done. But yeah, Nate, I don't know if you want to add on to how you felt about that distance.
The long distance stuff, oh, it's so
Yeah.
painful. It's so painful. Every day we're always like, man, we miss you,
Yeah.
wait to be able to get out there and everything like that. But I think
Right.
it just kind of goes to show that as strong as like our bond is, just as members of the band, despite being across the country, like it's more than just like a band at that point. It's kind of like a brotherhood or a friendship. So being
Right.
able to make things work like that, whether it is still writing songs and recording, whether or not we're able to perform live, we can still have content to be able to push out on social media. We can still interact with fans through that way, and still can put music out. And it's almost like if you're not actually like a local, it's like we never broke up, we didn't break up, but like it's never like we left in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
What about each of your musical background? How long have you been doing what you're contributing to the band?
Nate, you can start on that one.
So I've been doing music probably about as long as I can remember. It's been from a variety of different instruments. I was mainly in the piano and played trumpet throughout middle school and high school, but had a very strong background in jazz and everything. My dad loved playing jazz as I was growing up. So I grew up with like, Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong. I grew up with like Thelonious Monk and all these different artists that were just like such like a magical kind of unique sort of style of music, as well as playing like songs from the 60s. I grew up basically in the 60s at that point, just like soul classics. And it was whenever I got introduced to the Beatles, I think was the first moment that I was like, oh, I want to start playing guitar. And it was just something that I absolutely fell in love with, and would be practicing for hours every day, just trying to learn every Beatles song I could. And soon kind of developed into my own style, and it sort of grew my taste in music. So really started getting into stuff like surf rock, indie pop, which is now kind of like the main focus of what I'm doing now. But yeah, I think just it was a vast musical background, which I think lent a lot of influence into my style at the moment. Whenever I write songs, whenever I record stuff or learn guitar, there's a lot of like of those elements, whether it's like funk, soul, and especially jazz in my playing, that kind of offers that unique sound that we have going. And everybody in the band has their own unique style and genre to throw into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty cool, the different backgrounds that we come from. Nick, our bass player, he did band and stuff like that in school, but he was mainly into really hard rock and metal and things like that. So was Calvin. Nate just described his background, and then we had our drummer Parker, who he's in like drumline and doing like national drum corps stuff, and then I was raised, my dad is also a singer, and he's been a singer in a band called All for Nothing for years and years and years, as long as I can remember. And I grew up listening to kind of the same thing as Nate, all different kinds of stuff, but more 80s and classic rock like Styx and Journey and Queen, and then also like early 2000s rock, like Matchbox 20 and bands like that. So I think the fact that all of us are so different and come from all those different backgrounds really lends to what our sound is.
Those are a lot of great sounds to pull from. So what's your songwriting process like?
It really varies. I think the majority of our songs have normally went like, Nate or Nick will come up with a riff on the guitar, or a 4-chord progression of some sort, or whatever it is, and they'll send it in the group chat, or they'll text it to me and say, hey, what do you think about this? And normally, when I hear something, a fresh new instrumental, or a chord progression that they send over for the first time, if it is something that I think fits the band's sound, and it clicks with me right away, normally the melody to that new song will come to me like right then and there, which is very exciting. And then from there, I just I write as much as I can to it. What I normally do when recording vocals is, I'll put their music down and I'll hit record, and I'll kind of sing gibberish over the track. I'll mumble sing, no actual real words, because I don't want words that I haven't written yet to get in the way of the melody that's coming out of my brain.
Okay.
I think that's very important. I think people sometimes will try to write the words too fast and force these poetic lines, and sometimes you don't even know what you're writing about yet. So I think the first time you hear an instrumental, I think there's a melody that your brain wants to hear. And so I try to really just put myself in tune with that, let that come out, and then I write the lyrics later on. And Nate has helped me write some lyrics as well. I don't know if you want to add on at all.
Yeah, I don't have a huge part in the lyric writing. I've contributed like a stanza or a verse or two from time to time. But I think because a lot of it comes from, I guess my mind doesn't necessarily work like that. I'm kind of the melodic sense, where everything that I kind of emulate and whatever emotions that I want to put out there is not really through words, but like through the music that I
Yeah.
write. It's not always through a guitar line or anything too. It can also be through a bass line that I come up with,
Right.
or just kind of like a little like vocal melody in my head or whatever that kind of lends itself to me putting my hands on the fretboard and coming up with something that I want to be unique and something that can be very catchy at the same time, which can be very
Mhm.
hard. And I think a lot of times I get very in my own head about it as well. So it's hard for me to come up with something that I am like genuinely proud of to be able to present to the guys. Whereas I feel like every song that I make, I probably go through maybe 30, 40, 50 iterations of different ideas before I settle on one that I'm like, okay, I think this is good enough. I'm very, very picky when it
Yeah.
comes to that. Very, very hard to please. So
Got
We
the
all are.
perfectionism. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then what has been the fastest you've ever put something down and said, this is it, and it's came out from start to finish?
Oh,
Nate,
yeah.
what song do you think we've written the fastest? You know, besides the three that I already had done. Do you think it was Sweet
Oh,
Perfume?
yeah, because that was the one, whenever the second time we ever got together, it was just it was like one of those chord progressions that I had like sitting around, and again, it wasn't even complete. And I was just like, because at this point we probably only had like 4 songs in a catalog. They were all written by Alec, and I was just like, I have this little thing that I've been working on. What do you think we can do? And we probably like I remember Alec just sitting there and like writing out still my favorite lyrics that he's ever written, just like very, very poetic, beautiful, but like very catchy at the same time too. We probably got that whole song done in maybe like I want to say like 30 minutes, basically. Like obviously there's like little like parts that we wanted to add on
Sure.
top of like structuring and lyricism. It was
Yeah.
like we
Oh,
just
I
knocked
guess.
it out.
And
Well,
that
tell
and
me.
that was the first. Sorry to cut you off. That was the first song that we had ever written together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Because I had four, I think 3 or 4 originals that I had created before I even met them. And I made them for a potential band, and then they brought those songs to life in the
Ooh,
best
I'm
way
out right
possible.
now.
But yeah, Sweet Perfume, which is on all platforms, that was the first. That was the first one that we did together, and it was the fastest for sure.
Well, that's got to feel good too. You got to feel like I got the right. We're meant to be. This is
Oh
a good
yeah,
group.
That was the moment, man. That was the moment
absolutely.
where I was like, oh, we're like we got something good. We're special.
That
Right.
is pretty special. That is really nice. That is. I have a good feeling for y'all, and it's exciting.
Oh,
It'll be
thank
fun
you.
to be watching you guys. Tell me about the next song you have coming out. How long did it take, and when is it going to be released, and what's it all about?
Yeah, so the next song that we have coming out it's called Shell Shock. It's going to be released on October 14th.
That's my
This is
birthday.
oh,
Very
no
cool.
way. Sweet. My
Did
birthday
that
is
on
October
purpose.
3rd, so go October birthdays.
Yes.
But yeah, this is a song was very like near and dear to my heart. I actually wrote this song just back in my apartment on my acoustic guitar, and I just wrote it there. It kind of one of those songs that just I found these chords on the guitar, and it just started flowing out of me until I was done, basically. And then these guys obviously lent their amazing musicianship to the song and added you know all their parts, and brought it to life, and brought it into this kind of upbeat, yet kind of sad, maybe bittersweet is the word, song. um, and it's basically about feeling like you're barely keeping your head above water in life, and you know you might be in a relationship where you love this person more than anything, and you would do anything for this person, but the road is rocky. You're not sure what's to come. There might be a big hiccup that you guys are needing to overcome, that you're not sure about. But basically saying, aside of all of that, or in spite of all of that, will you love me or no? Like when we get down to the, what it's really about, like, are you going to stay, and are you going to love me, or are you going to give up, or are you going to stop fighting? Are you going to be with me till we're gray and old? And that's something that I think everybody can relate to, or maybe has gone through in one point or other, even if it's not through a relationship, even if it's just a life hurdle that they're needing to get through, and they're wondering with themselves, am I going to quit this, or am I going to love this passion and keep going for it? Yeah, I don't know, Nate, if you want to add to that at all, but
No, yeah, you pretty
I
much
know I
said it.
wrote it.
Right. It
Yeah.
was just one of those things where I think, again, it was one of those moments where Alec can send over a song and then just kind of like you almost feel that kind of become a part of you,
Yeah.
almost, or like the way that you can kind of connect to the lyrics or to the music, to the song, and then you can kind of add your own stuff on it. You know, if Alec provides the bread, me and Calvin are going to get the peanut butter and jelly,
Right.
and then the rest of the band put the other, the final piece on top, and then boom, you
Right.
got like a full-on sandwich at that point.
Hell
And so yeah, at the moment we're just in the process of polishing up the recording and
yeah.
really kind of getting it perfected at the moment.
All right. Well, I hope you'll send it over to Run Radio when it's ready, and we'll be glad
Oh
to
yeah.
play that for you. And tell
Absolutely.
folks where they can go to check you all out.
Yeah, so you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at just Criminal Outpost, exactly how it sounds. And then we are also on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, the works, at Criminal Outpost as well.
All right. Well, thank you for spending some time. It's been my pleasure, and I wish you very well moving forward with all of your music. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.